Well, welcome to the Women's March Canada podcast, making the equality of women in Canada the new norm. This is episode 31, titled Bookman for Baseball. My name is Melissa Durrell, and I'm your host. Women's March Canada inspires, unites, and leads the charge for the advancement of women across Canada. Now, please welcome our guest this week, who is Dana Bookman. Dana, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I loved your intro.
Oh, thank you. Well, you should know a little bit about Dana because she's the founder and CEO of Toronto Girls Baseball. It's a nonprofit organization centered around giving girls the opportunity to play the sport they love and the environment that they can flourish in. Since its establishment in 2016, so you're 2 years old, this all-girls baseball league has expanded to Manitoba and Nova Scotia. Dana is also the CEO of the Canadian Women's Baseball Association. I'm super excited to talk to you about this. Have you always been a baseball fan?
I have never been a baseball fan. Oh. So I've always liked the Jays, but I never played baseball. I have a daughter, and 2 years ago she was 6, and she played baseball she was in a co-ed league. So she was the only girl with 400 boys her age, and nothing really bad happened, but socially it was just not for her. And she loves baseball, and she's good at baseball. And she said, "Forget it, I quit." And I said, "You're not quitting. You can't quit baseball. You love it." So I figured out eventually that it was about the girl thing. And I said, "We'll just get 5 friends and we'll go to the park and we'll play ball." Anyway, we got 5. And then I was hoping we get 10 so we could have 2 little tiny teams. And we got 10, and then we got all the way to 42, which, if anybody likes baseball who's listening, is a very auspicious number. Jackie Robinson was number 42. Cool. So I was really excited. I got insurance, and I got permits, and I got uniforms and coaches, and I thought I had reinvented the wheel or something. But anyway, so 1 year later, that was our first year. And a year later, we had 350 girls playing. Wow. And then this is the second year, and we have 650 girls in 3 provinces. We have 5 competitive teams. We have a tournament coming up this weekend for girls only. I mean, it's just, and I get calls every day from people asking to bring it to their locations. So I'm expanding as fast as possible, but it's still just me behind the wheel. So
congratulations.
Thank you. It's really exciting. I mean, I didn't know. I mean, I guess that what they say, necessity is the mother of invention. So who knew that my daughter was not the only one out there who wanted to give baseball a try or play more ball. And it's exciting. I mean, it's amazing to be a part of it.
What do you do in real life?
Well, my real job is a producer, TV producer. So This is like a giant production. Right?
Massive, yeah.
So that's kind of what I figure. If I can produce, news segment, I can produce anything. But this is a much larger production than anything in my news career.
That's very cool. So talk to me a little bit about, I mean, obviously it's had really good organic growth. I'm assuming that's word of mouth is how this all happened, but how did it happen?
It really was word of mouth. I mean, I put it on my Facebook page to start. So I said, does anybody have a daughter who wants to play baseball? Girls only, will play in the park. And then it got shared and shared and shared. And that was the first 42 girls. And I guess people really liked it because, at the last minute in our second season, in our second year, 350 girls signed up. And I think that my brain sort of exploded. Like, it was the worst opening day of all time, but people were really supportive and nice. And it was freezing cold, and the photographer was horrible. Like, we were trying to do team photos. And I mean, this is not my wheelhouse. So, but people were just really nice. And I mean, I might not know a lot about baseball, but I have a daughter, and I know and understand a lot about girls. And I spoke to somebody the other day who really said to me that, he reminded me that I put my values into this, and my value system, I guess, turned into something that's good for girls in sport. And it's an easy program to get involved in. It's not a ton of commitment. So it gives girls an opportunity to give it a try and see if they like it for a reasonable price. And it's not a traditional league where they have to play 2 days a week. So I think that that's attractive to people. And the fact that it's all girls, and this is the only all girls league that's out there. There are teams of girls out there, but this is the only league. So, yeah.
I hate to quote our Prime Minister, right now, but I mean, to take his quote, but it's 2018. It's really hard to believe that there isn't anything like this across Canada. Had there been some before and they failed, or
Not a kids league. There was a women's league in Ontario that sort of broke up when the baseball system changed a little bit. And again, there are teams. There's like pockets of teams out there, but I mean, the reason I started it was because I looked for a league and I couldn't find one for my own daughter. So it's incredible. Baseball Canada is the only board in Canada to not have a woman on their board. It's one of two national sports organizations. This rugby and baseball do not have a woman on their board.
Didn't name you the Canadian Baseball Network named you as one of the most influential women.
Yes. Well, as one of the most influential people. I mean, there aren't any women. No, there aren't any women. There are some women who support baseball, but yes, they did name me that, which was a really big honor and a total surprise. But I think that women were banned from baseball until the 90s, like from Major League Baseball. So a lot of people don't understand the history of it. I mean, it really started as a women's sport. And then during the World War II, when the men went off and the women started the All-American Girls Baseball League, which people know of because of a league of their own.
Of course.
That became popular, but the men came back, and then women were banned from baseball because they didn't want the competition. And they only lifted the ban in the 90s. So women were very directly like driven into softball. And I like to make the comparison that it's like hockey and ringette. They're two completely separate sports. Softball and baseball are both good. They both involve a ball and a glove, but they are just completely different sports. So there should be an opportunity for girls to play both.
Amazing. Well, I'm in Waterloo, and I imagine that there'll be women across this country that are going to try to get in touch with you. What is your capacity? I mean, you said a couple minutes ago that you're still running this on your own.
I am. So I just interviewed somebody this morning. I mean, now I'm at a place where I need to create an infrastructure because I want to expand as quickly as possible. I mean, luckily it's a portable program. Like it's pretty easy to bring it to each place. It's just that I need just more help with the infrastructure pieces. So yeah, I mean, hopefully there will be, if anybody out there wants to donate, hi.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be able to raise some money now that we've shown that this works, now that I've shown that there is a community for this, that there is a need for this. So I'm hoping that the money will come because I think it's a compelling story and I think it's a compelling, sport. It's like the fact that it's not out there is, I mean, I'm hoping that people sort of pick it up and run with it somehow and realize that this is needed, and my big thing is that team sports creates future leaders. So it's not just about playing the sport. It's about all the things that you get from sport that girls don't usually get. And to me, that's what we're teaching here. We're giving them the soft skills for life and to become CEOs and prime ministers and whatever else they want to become, because boys get that automatically because they're automatically driven into team sports, and girls don't get those same skills from ballet or from gymnastics, which it's something that we, tend to push them into.
Yeah, that's a really good point. What do you think? I mean, now you've been watching your daughter for 2 years. What do you think some of the important skills, obviously there's team, but are there other things that you can share with us that you've seen her grow in? I think leadership.
Absolutely. Just baseball alone is a sport that teaches resilience, I think, more than any other sport. It's the only sport because you have to get up in front of everybody and you have to fail. And then you have to get up again and you have to fail again, probably. Like you're not, even the best baseball players, don't hit the ball 7 out of 10 times.
Right.
So you have to do that and you've got to get over it and just move on. So there's resilience, there's teamwork, obviously, which you said. There's leadership, there's empathy. I mean, when that teammate doesn't hit the ball, you have to be with them. You have to tell them it's going to be okay. And you've been there too. So there are all of those pieces of it that they can take away. And each one of those pieces, I mean, is shown to turn to be a leadership skill. And 94% of women who are CEOs did play a team sport. So, I mean, there's a direct correlation. And but I think it's 46% of girls ages 3 to 16 do not play a team sport.
Wow, that's
So
a scary stat, isn't it? Tell me about some of the girls that are on your team. Like, I mean, you started with your daughter, but you now have a big family, I imagine, right? Like
yes, I have 650 kids. I have, you know, I see them. It's amazing getting to know them all. Like I see how they grow. I have one girl who started a couple seasons ago. We don't just do a spring baseball. So there's fall, there's summer, there's winter, and there's spring. So she started, I think, a couple of seasons ago, maybe last spring, and she would only play piano. And her mother called me and said she's forcing her into this. Anyway, she just had a birthday and she got catcher gear and a gift card for Sport Check, and she's going to go buy a baseball bat and batting gloves. And she has turned into an entirely different person, and in a good way. Like, she is so confident. She took we did an all-female umpire course in our league, because I want this to be like really about girls playing any position. And she came out and umped a game, and she was just like yelling out her calls really loud, and it's amazing to see. And I mean, there's other players who I get a lot of phone calls and a lot of emails from parents saying, my daughter, is the only girl on her team, or my daughter had a bad experience, or she played t-ball and then she dropped out. And then they send me a letter after, that this is just a great experience for them, because whether they have a little experience or a lot of experience, it's different than anything they've done. And so it's nice for me to see their confidence grow, and it's visible. You can see their skill improve over an 8-week period. You can see, I had a girl who cried when she got to first base because she didn't know where else to run. She didn't know how to hit second. But now she's on our select team. I mean, now she's on our competitive team. So within a short amount of time, she figured it out. She's doing it. Like there's visible markers along the way, which is very nice for me to see.
I love that. I love those. Those are great stories. I'm wondering because you obviously are pulling people away. It sounds like some people had quit the traditional baseball, I imagine in Toronto model, but some people are just moving into the all girls league. So what has the response been from the more, I'm calling it the Toronto Baseball Association or something like that, right?
Yeah, there is the Toronto Baseball Association. And surprisingly, they have actually embraced this. The president of the Toronto Baseball Association, so you named it correctly, he actually called me and he invited me to their president's meeting. And I sat down with the presidents from each of the leagues and talked about how I can partner with them to get more girls to come in, how I can help work with them or start, a girls' baseball side of their leagues, and how we can sort of change the system, because we really are missing 50% of the population. But one of the things that surprised me the most about this is supportive people like him, like that.
That's good to hear.
To me, it really is. Like, there are some men who have just been incredible inspirations to me, and that surprised me so much. Like, we have one of our coaches is from the national women's baseball team, which many people don't know that we have, but we do. And our team is second in the world, and most of our coaches are from the provincial team or the national team.
Wow.
And they're amazing elite athletes and great role models, and they're incredible. But her dad coaches one of the provincial teams, and he comes out, I don't give him anything to come out, but he comes out to everything. We have a game tonight, he's coming. He will work all night and then wake up in the morning and come to our baseball games and help with everything. And so I don't turn away any girl who wants to play, whether she can pay our fee or not pay our fee. So I've started a scholarship fund where I'm hoping, people will be willing to donate on top of their registration a couple dollars, so that about 5 to 10% of our girls don't play. But I named the scholarship fund after him. It's the Murray Carr Scholarship Fund, because he is just one of those men that he gives so much of himself and believes so strongly in girls playing ball that it's inspiring. And it's just, he's one of those people that makes you want to give more. And I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he finds the energy. So anyway.
Well, I'm a huge believer in equality will happen because with the help of male allies. I mean, we need to all be working on it together. And so that's incredible. I'm curious, I mean, maybe I'm getting too much in the weeds here, but we always have issues with fields and how many fields there are and who can play in what field. I mean, it sounds to me, well, I mean, you're obviously, you found the fields. How did that go?
Well, we use the worst fields. I mean, in
Oh, really?
oh my God, we use a lot of schools. We use them at a time that other people don't want them. We use the very worst ones that have like lumps and bumps, and they're awful. We sometimes, if we have to, we'll take a soccer field and create a baseball diamond and just put down bases. I mean, there's one of our locations started really small, but all of a sudden, right near the end of registration, 1 million girls registered. So and the school was supposed to have 2 diamonds, but it turned out that they took one away for portables and they didn't tell the school board. So I ended up with 1 diamond, and now all of the girls play in the same location. So 2 giant groups of kids are on the grass on the outfield, and then our oldest kids use the diamond. And it's slightly embarrassing. And I hope that people understand that this is what grassroots sports looks like. But, we're creating something. I think of this as a movement. It's something that's bigger than each individual person. It's something that's bigger than me. This is a community. And because of that, we have to just sort of come together and, cheer each other on, as opposed to saying, why am I playing on a soccer field? So, but yeah, fields are an issue.
So I love this idea that you're this news producer by day, and now you were nominated for the RBC Female Entrepreneur of the Year, and were put on the Canadian Baseball Network's 2018 list of the most influential people in Canadian baseball. Tell me about when you started getting these awards and being acknowledged for this.
I mean, a lot of it's been a surprise. I do a lot of, because of my news background, I think I'm not scared to call people. I will call anybody. I'm lucky enough to have met with Mark Shapiro, the president of the Blue Jays, just because I reached out and said, can we have a meeting?
Awesome.
I went to New York to meet with the people from the commissioner's office at Major League Baseball. Again, just to reach out. So a lot of what I'm trying to do is, first of all, I don't have a background in business or sports. So I talk to people. That's like anybody, I'm doing my research. So in talking to people, I mean, I guess I've been lucky to talk to some people who hear the story and, want to see this succeed, and have felt that, there's something there. So to me, as amazing as it is to get the attention, I really see this is a community of people. Like if those people got mad about playing on a soccer field, this would not exist. So this is, and if people like the national and the provincial team players didn't help with baseball, this wouldn't exist. So between our coaches and the parents who help out, and our, and the players themselves, they're the ones who have to love this. So really those acknowledgements from anybody are about this movement, not just me. But at the same time, it's really nice. I'm not going to pretend.
Well, and so that kind of leads nicely into, like, what's been your proudest moment so far?
Ooh, what's been my proudest moment?
Yeah.
I think that probably my proudest moment was about me. You know what my proudest moment actually was? I was going to say it was when I got asked to speak at the Baseball Canada National Convention, but it wasn't. My very proudest moment was that my daughter was invited to go out to a training session with the provincial team. So my 8-year-old daughter, who was ready to quit baseball, went and practiced with these amazing elite athletes for a night. And, she held her own, and they obviously modified some of the things for her, but she did it, and she was brave, and she got out there. And to me, that was the moment that made me say, if she had quit, she wouldn't have been brave enough to go out there, this wouldn't exist. Like, what's going to happen next for her, and what has she learned from all of this? And to me, that was, I'm going to cry, but that was my proudest moment.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Well, she's beautiful.
Sorry, my Mac is getting hot here, so I hope we can continue on here. Okay, so tell me what's next for you and your organization.
So
world domination.
Yes, that is the plan. You say jokingly, but yes. I really want to see the whole face of girls baseball in this country change. I created, I know you mentioned the Canadian Women's Baseball Association, but I just created Canadian Girls Baseball, because to me that's where I want to focus right now, is the girls sport. And my goal is to create a place for girls to play in every city across the country and around the world, obviously. But, I think I just have to think big and keep going after this. And whether it's me who starts the program, or it's partnerships, or it's somebody who's inspired by this, I mean, really every girl should have an opportunity to play if she wants to play, and she should be able to get from this or from soccer or from volleyball or whatever she plays, but there has to be a team option that's female only, that's a supportive environment, that's open to her. And why not baseball?
Hear, hear. All right, we're gonna do some fun little rapid fire questions, okay? You ready for this? You're a news girl, you got this. Okay, so morning, noon, or night?
Morning.
Major League movie or League of Our Own movie?
League of Our Own.
Of course. I hope that you dressed up like one of them for Halloween for the last couple of years too, by the way.
Yes, obviously. I mean, I wear that outfit every day. That's great.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how cool are you?
I'm the coolest. Wow.
If you could paint anything, what would you paint?
Something abstract.
Interesting. Okay. What's the most interesting thing you have in your purse?
The most interesting thing I have in my purse? Tic Tacs.
Oh, I thought you'd say like a baseball or something like that.
A baseball.
There's probably that in there. It's just not interesting to you because it's
that's right. That's just part of my daily life. Many baseballs.
Everywhere, right? If you could talk to the Prime Minister, what would you talk about?
How I get access to the $40 million for girls in sports.
Good one. And have you ever tried to do something you knew you would be really bad at? And what was it?
Yeah, baseball.
Says the most influential woman on the baseball list. So awesome. And what's your favorite pet's name? My
favorite pet's name is Benny. That's my dog. Benny is our baseball mascot, and he is everybody loves him, Benny the baseball dog. Tell
everyone, our audience, how they can find you on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all those things.
Okay, so we have Toronto Girls Baseball, Manitoba Girls Baseball, and Nova Scotia Girls Baseball. So those are on Instagram. On Twitter, we're Tour Girl Baseball, and our website is torontogirlsbaseball.com, and the same for other provinces, Manitoba, Nova Scotia, girlsbaseball.com.
Do you have a final message to our Women's March community?
I think the message is, if you have a daughter, put her in a team sport. And if you don't have a daughter, come out and volunteer with us, and we'll give you some substitute daughters.
That's awesome. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciated chatting with you. You're wonderful, and keep up the amazing work.
Thank you so much for having me. This was lots of fun. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of your podcast.
Well, thank you. And thanks to everyone who tuned in to listen. Your comments are always welcomed and encouraged. Subscribe to our Women's March Canada channel, and you'll receive updates every time we upload a new video, which is usually on Fridays. Our mission across Canada is to stand together in solidarity with our partners and our children for the protection of our rights, our safety, our health, and our families, recognizing that our vibrant and diverse communities are the strength of our country. This is Women's March Canada podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Women's March CDA and on our website at womensmarchcanada.com. I'm Melissa Durrell, and I'm wishing you a great day.